Hi, so a lot has changed since we were last together here. Mr. Winchester is giving me a look like, ooh, we have an insightful one. So some of the things that have changed for me personally, I got engaged to that guy. Hi, Daniel. Yeah, I think COVID was kind of a make it or break it for all couples in America. So ours worked out, so that was great news. I found 2 cats, lost one, so got one. If you see my cat, please bring her back. I, like many people here in the valley with our delicious food, I gained weight and then I got inspired and I lost it and then I gained it back and then I lost it again. It's been a long time, so I don't actually know where I am on that one. Somehow I've managed to lose every single mask that matches this dress, so that was stressful right before I was supposed to leave. And honestly, y'all, I really almost lost my mind trying to write these remarks. After about the 5th draft, I finally realized, you know what, Melina? There's no matter how bad it goes, it cannot possibly be worse than everything else these poor people have experienced this past year. And with that, I do want to pivot to share a little bit about the perspective, and not from me, but from my students. So I want to share really the brutal facts of our current reality in education. One day this year, I had a student write, on October 17th at 2:22 p.m., my grandfather passed away. I lost a huge part of my life that day. I lost my best friend and a father figure. I couldn't stand but look for something to blame for this pain I was feeling. I blamed God for taking him from me so early. I said, take me instead. Please let him come back. The same week, another student shared, my mother was my strength, my warrior, my fight. She did everything she could to make us happy. When we needed something, she was always there. However, it was time to say goodbye and let her soul rest. We didn't get to say goodbye, so all that are left are the memories that replay every night before bed. This year, 3 of my students lost parents. Many lost grandparents. 5 that I know of lost a family member to suicide. Multiple in each class period have been diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety, to say nothing of those who cannot afford a mental health professional. Most became in charge not only of their own educations, but that of their younger siblings as well. And I have lost count of the number of parents I have cried with on the phone. I just don't know what to do anymore, they often say, to which I respond, neither do I. In truth, all of my students have been adversely affected by this past year in too many heartbreaking ways to count. However, the brutal reality is that certain students and certain families have been disproportionately impacted by the past year. A 2020 summer report done by the Texas Education Agency noted that while high-income students actually gained some academic progress, about 5%, during last year's spring lockdowns, the average low-income student lost over 55% of their academic progress. That was before we even started this school year. These days, I hear a lot of people saying that they can't wait for things to get back to normal. My question is this: what exactly is it that we are rushing back to? Normal was some students having access to the internet and others sitting in the McDonald's parking lot at 11 p.m. after their parents got home from the late shift so they can complete assignments. Normal was some of my kids having the spare bedroom made up as a makeshift classroom, while others worked from a crowded, wobbly kitchen table surrounded by the sounds of 3 families crammed into a 1-bedroom apartment. Normal was some parents having options in the face of the shutdown. Should we homeschool our child? Hire a tutor? Should we transfer them to a different school? Should we move? While other students worked until 4 a.m. at Whataburger to help financially support their families. As Sonia Renee Taylor so eloquently stated, Our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, disconnection, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return. If I'm being honest, when I think about the seemingly endless challenges before us, I start to feel defeated. If I'm being honest, sometimes I feel pretty hopeless, especially this year. And yet, despite the seemingly insurmountable odds, each year, Teach for America recruits, trains, and transforms the hearts of courageous leaders in the fight for educational equity. I know this to be true because that story is my story. Because of Teach for America, I moved to the Rio Grande Valley in 2012 to become a teacher, and since then have had the great privilege of teaching over 1,500 incredible young people. Thinking of all they have been through this year, I'm reminded that oftentimes who we are is defined not by what we want, but what we are willing to struggle for. In the beginning of 2014, after a particularly challenging start to my third year in the classroom, my father handwrote me a series of letters. I keep these letters by my bed, and I've read them dozens of times throughout my career. The pages are tear-stained, and the cursive is beginning to fade. Parts read, Mi querida Melina, I do not pretend to fully understand what you are facing at work. I just know that it really breaks your heart. Think about what your principles are. If helping kids is your passion, don't let anyone or anything take that away from you. Find a way, mijita. Teach for America knows its principles. Teach for America is also passionate about helping kids. Teach for America is not going to let anyone or anything stand in the way of the fight for equity. I am proud to be a teacher, and I am proud to be a Teach for America alumna, and together we will find a way. Myself, the Teach for America Network in the Valley, all of our partners, and I hope all of you as well, are not afraid to confront the brutal truths before us. Because hopelessness is not an option. Defeat is not an option. Our kids are counting on us.